Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to now attempt to share my screen again. And if I get lost with this, then Alan's going to put me straight again. And by sharing my screen, hopefully, that's showing at the top. I don't want it there. Let's see if I can move that to the bottom. And then, can you all see my screen?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can hear me okay. Now, at the bottom of your screen, if there's anything where you want to chat or put any details or questions or anything, then you can put it on there, and then I can have a look at it. But because there's sort of like 5 of us today, hopefully it should go pretty smoothly. So yeah, my name's Julia Searle. I run my company Empower You, and as I said to you earlier, I'm helping the Chamber as a new member on different aspects, which will hopefully be of use in different ways for different businesses. And these are things to think about applying. And certainly when we get to the end, if there's questions, ask your questions. But I'm always available to talk to at any time if there's anything that you want reminding. Certainly this is going to be recorded, so it will be available to listen back to. But yeah, goal setting is one of those things that's really important and very few people ever do it. So anyway, let's proceed, shall we? And that, Alan, isn't working now when I'm doing my arrows. Oh, let's see if I can get it that way. Okay, so let's go on. So the agenda today is how to work out your goals, being ahead of the game, because that's what's really important, is thinking that everyone else out there is going to be behind the game because they're sort of like still thinking about what to do next, and you're thinking about the next exciting thing you're going to action for yourself. We're also looking at what are your daily, weekly, monthly and yearly goals. What's your ultimate plan for yourself and your business? How does it feel to focus on your goals, believe it or not? Exit planning, the end, but not quite. And then we're going to look at some questions, and then we're going to do our conclusion. So that's the format. It's only 30 minutes, but as I say, I can stop at any stage if there's anything you need me to go over. Let's see if I can get this. Oh, look at that. That's working on its own there. Thank you, Alan. How to work out your goals, being ahead of the game. So what, I don't know whether you've got a notebook and pen there for yourself, but what are the things you want to achieve with your business, and list them. So I don't know with regard to your business, the sort of things that are cropping up or that you've certainly had on your mind as things to do. But these are the sort of things that you should be making a list of. Sometimes we get these sort of things cropping up in our minds in the middle of the night, and it's a really good idea to keep a notebook by the side of the bed, and as it crops up into your head and you're thinking, what do I do with that, because it's playing on my mind, write it down. As soon as you write something down, it allows you to go back to sleep because your subconscious is allowing you to then focus on, you know, what's good for your body. When you've got stuff subconsciously working as things that you need to do, they're going to keep you awake at night. So it's a really good thing to look at doing to help. So a list of things might be looking at how to get yourself back out there after lockdown, what you're doing. Are you still isolating yourself? Are you going on sort of Zoom meetings and trying to sort of speak to people on there? Are you interacting? You know, how's your business? Is it stalled and you're trying to get it back on? What are the things that you know you need to do, as you may have done in the past or wanted to do in the future, that you can write down on this list and keep that list current? Are you reactive to situations or proactive? So let's think about this. At the moment, everyone's trying to get their head round. I was reading the news about whether they should wear a mask in a shop at the moment, because you know, the police are saying it's not enforceable. People are wondering, should I wear a mask in a shop? Shouldn't I? You know, the government is saying you should do it. So this is on people's mind. They're reactive to a situation. They're not being proactive. They're thinking, I'll wait for the government to tell me, and then I'll see if what I should do when I enter a shop. Being proactive to situations means that not only do you address a subject calmly, but where your competition and where other businesses are trying to now think about getting themselves back into the flow, having a proactive list of your items for your business will help you move smoothly into situations, so that when things come and come up, you know, unexpectedly, you're thinking, well, I'm already dealing with this, I'm being proactive with it, so I can deal with the reactive thing because that's just come up, and I'm not going to go into chaos. I'm in control of this. So being reactive, acting on impulse, fighting fires, never able to get ahead, always taken down by situations. I mean, if that does sound like how you are behaving, and certainly how things have been in the past, that is not going to help you. You have to make a stand in yourself, to say to yourself, actually, I need to be different, because if I'm really going to come out of this lockdown, if I'm going to really start building this business up again as I want it to, I've got to take a completely different approach. And sometimes you get locked into bad habits. Now, if I could speak actually for 30 minutes about bad habits, but I'm not going to. But you know, why I know that bad habits are things that hold you back, and why I know that they're things that you can get rid of, is because you're not born with a bad habit. It's just something you learn. It's a bit like when you're driving. You get into a bad habit of driving on your brakes or whatever. So bad habits happen when you get reactive. You go to the same things because they are the way you react normally. You've got to cut them, and you've got to get into new habits. So one of them is being proactive with your list. Being proactive, setting daily objectives, planning situations before they happen are all things that will quickly get your mind able to comprehend and deal with much, much more than just the basics like you are right now. I know, because at the moment I'm dealing with what I'm doing with my business. I'm also becoming a director for some other company. I'm also in a writing club, and I'm also doing a drama group too. That's 4 quite sort of heavy duty stuff to get involved in, but it's because I know I'm being proactive that I can allow myself to do that. So let's look at these daily goals. Let's look at these things that are going to get you ahead. So what is the one thing, the daily target that would get you ahead in a day? If you were to think, set everything aside for now, clear your head. If you were to achieve one thing that would make you feel better at the end of the day, just for getting it done, and when I say one thing, I mean something that's going to make you feel better about what you're doing with your work. So that might be clearing all your paperwork, or separating all your paperwork into monthly piles so it's ready for your accounts, or any contacts that you do, that you've separated them into boxes and files so you know that you can head straight into them tomorrow. That to me would be a daily target. It's not overburdening yourself with about 10 things. It's saying one, just one. Again, for the weekly target, have one weekly target that you say, if you get to the end of the week and that's achieved, then I am happy. So let's focus on these accounts, or, you know, things, this filing thing. So daily, I've managed to separate these files into like a daily system. I then realized that if I can get these daily systems all figured out by the end of the week into something that I can then input for my, let's say as an example, for my accounting system, I feel really good, because it's not a subject I enjoy, but it was one that really will make a difference for me focusing on my business. Because if I look at my accounts at the end of the week, I'll know how much money I'm spending, or how much money I've got to spend for the following week. You see, it acts as a way of giving yourself a bit of self-gratitude to say you've accomplished something. We then look at what's the monthly target. So just one goal for the month. Now, one goal for the month might be that for your business to get ahead, for you to come out of this lockdown and to say, look at what's happening with the competition, you might say to yourself, well, if I look at my advertising, or I look at how I present myself, maybe if I can actually look at getting, say, an advert or a video done and something put online at the end of the month, then that means I've got something there that I can physically then put in place that will be working in the background and help me to get ahead. There's lots of different things that can be your monthly goal. Try and keep them as focused as you can, but it's actually about saying to yourself, what's going to help you the most to get through from the week to week to week, to be free by the end of that month saying, yes, I've accomplished something big for myself. When you look at the year, now they're saying at the moment that we're going to go into a 5-year recession. So by looking at your daily targets, by looking at goals and things to set yourself, this will really help you. If we're going into a recession, if you've got something for the year ahead to work towards as your target, not unrealistic, set it as something that's realistic to achieve. It might be saying to yourself, well, you know, if I can get 5 more clients in a year from doing that advert to relieving myself of all that accounting system, I'll be very happy, because if I look at how much that new client's going to be bringing in for me in terms of income, it means then I've generated that 5 times. That means the second year I can start planning for something else, maybe buy more equipment. And given these as examples, only you really know what it is that you would want in a year's time that's going to safeguard you for going forwards, like a platform to the second year, third year, etc. Okay, I don't know if there's any questions on that. Otherwise, I'll move on. Okay, right, let's move on. So, what's your ultimate plan for yourself and your business? Do you know, I can honestly say, in like working for myself within this business for like 14 years, the amount of people that I come across that can tell me what they wanted to do when they were a child, like be, you know, working as a dustbin, you know, operative, or builder or postman or pilot, but they can never actually tell me what they really wanted to do when they actually set their business up. It's just falling into place. And a lot of the time, maybe we're destined to go into the business that we're meant to go into, but it is important to feel like you're getting satisfaction out of what you're doing. Because when you were a child and you were thinking about that career, that gave you great satisfaction to think that you would grow up and be a racing car driver or something. You know, nowadays we've got to be realistic about where we're going with stuff, but doesn't mean to say we need to hold ourselves back either. So what are you looking to achieve in your life and for your family? You know, these are things, because again, working with companies, I can talk to a business owner or a member of staff, and I'm saying to them, you know, what is it you're looking to achieve here? And they say, well, I want to make more money. Okay, why do you want to make more money? Well, because then I get a nice lifestyle. Why do you want a nice lifestyle? Well, because I can do stuff with my family. So, you know, some people get so focused on making the money, they forget about their family. And then what happens is the business becomes the money maker, and then the family are not being able to see their, you know, the person who's out there making the money. And then at the end of it, I've had people come back to me and say, actually, I've lost my family now. You know, I'm going through a divorce, separation, because I was spending too much time focused on making money, and I didn't consider what it was all about, which was my family, my life and my family fitting together. So remember, when you're looking at your ultimate plan for your business, it has to fit with what's in your life and what makes you feel good, and the importance of one thing creating the other. and fitting together in a way that is good for you and the people around you. So what are you creating with your business? You're creating a happy medium of spending time going after something that you enjoy, that brings in money, that actually gives you the lifestyle, but it also is something that enables you to spend time with your family and give them something back for allowing you to go out there and do what you need to do with your work or with your charity stuff, whatever it is, but it's having that happy balance. How does your business goal fit with your life goal? If they don't fit, you're going to be in trouble, and it will lead to cracks, and it will lead to you either giving too much to one thing and not enough to the other, and you'll come out of it thinking, actually, you know, this wasn't a dress rehearsal. I can't now go back and do it all over again. You've got to seriously think about what it is. And you may, if you're in a relationship or, you know, marriage, whatever it is, or even if you're thinking for yourself, what are you looking there to achieve with it? Because once you know and talk to your partner, that's how you then become able to get it. So look at that list of stuff, think about what the goals really are, what it means to you, how important they are, why are you doing it? So how does it feel to focus on your goals? Knowing you have a daily purpose, does that what for you? So, you know, thinking about a purpose for the day. So you go to bed at night and you think, actually, tomorrow I'm going to clear those accounts, or I'm going to clear those calls or emails. I've got a purpose tomorrow, and I'm not letting anything get in the way of it. And when I get to the end of what I'm doing with those emails or files or whatever it is, that's the time that I'll let anything else distract me and take that time, because I've allowed myself, I've got myself off the hook for that, and I feel really good. So that, does that feel and the attitude affect your goals? If you're going every day the night before and you're thinking, oh God, I've got to get those accounts out of the way, they're driving me nuts, or I've got to have that conversation with that person that I've just let down because they wanted me to go out and take photographs for them tomorrow and I can't do it, and I don't know how to put it to them to disappoint them, and I'm really not looking forward to it. So you're already in a negative mindset. That day is already looking for being screwed up. You go into it saying, whatever's going to happen tomorrow, whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to give it my best shot. I've got a positive attitude towards it. However people respond or situations respond, it doesn't matter, because it's what I've got to do. And you're positive and you're breaking through those negative habits that you've had that have held you back and got you sabotaged all the way along. What happens if you don't meet your goals? So you go to tomorrow and you're all positive, and then you don't get your accounts done, or you don't get that call made or whatever. So what? You've still got the next day, and you've got the next day and the next day. As long as you get back to it, as long as your mindset is, I'm doing this, I'm not going to let this get me down, I'm in control of this, you can do it. You just need one thing a day and you're off the hook, I promise. So don't worry about things work out as they're meant to. So if you miss out on one day, it doesn't matter, just go straight back. Exit planning. You know, I've had some fantastic and fun conversations with people who are nearing retirement with companies, and I've said to them, what's your exit strategy? What do you mean? I've said, well, what are you looking to achieve? Where are you going with it? Well, I'll just retire. You're kidding. You're just going to look at retiring. You don't know what you're going to do. Well, I'll play golf. So you're going to play golf 7 days a week from like 9 till 10 o'clock at night. Don't be silly. I'm sure your partner might have other ideas on that, let alone anything else. You know, people have this really crazy view that retirement is like this big open door, and as soon as you walk into it, everything falls into place and it's all happy because you've got so much time on your hands, you can do whatever you like. They start thinking about it when they're actually in it. That's far too late. You think about it now. because exit planning starts from when you set a business up. You start it, you set it up, you know why you've set it up, you set yourself goals to achieve, to know that you're doing well and you're reaching benchmarks with that business, and then you work towards your exit plan. And the exit plan is, what do I want to achieve by the time I retire? Now that might be financial. It might be that if you've got your retailing, you might want 2 shops instead of 1. It might be that you want a good team of people to take the business over for you. You might want to come in as a consultant and just consult for them. You might want to think about going on a board for a charity and being within that board and giving your, you know, your professional background into that. It doesn't matter what it is. That game plan for you is, how do I exit out of my current business into what I do next? So important. Think of it just like you think about the beginning. It needs to be thought about now. So is your current business part of your end game, or are you looking to do something else in the future? If it isn't, that's fine, because what you can do is look at how you want to package it up and make it into a saleable product that maybe somebody else might want to buy into as a business that they don't want to set up themselves. Or, as I say, you might want other people to run it for you so that you just oversee it. Doesn't matter how it is, as long as it works for you. And if you then want to go off and work with horses and, you know, act as a consultant to horse therapy or something, fine, you retrain, you do what you need to do, but you've worked everything out to get to that point because you're free. But please don't leave yourself empty, and don't leave it to the last minute. That is one of the biggest mistakes people make in their life. And I feel that with retirement, it doesn't have to be the end, and it certainly doesn't have to be empty. It can be full of all the sort of things that you've always wanted to do, whether that includes traveling, whether that includes consulting, etc., etc. You can make it what you want to be. What will it take for you to walk away? As I say, it's just a matter of, if you've been working in your business for so long and giving everything you possibly could, and at the end of it, with the exit plan, it's not meeting what you want it to meet, and you've tried every single thing, and you've got to say to yourself, okay, I might need to walk away from this, then you've got to say it's because I've tried every single possible thing. I've had the right approach, I've done my goals, I've done everything I possibly can, but it's not working. So you either get the support that you need to look at it, if there is another way through it, or you say to yourself, I'm going to park it. It's not a great way to do things. I wouldn't want you to do that, but sometimes it's the best thing. And I can assure you, if we are going into a recession in these next 5 years, there'll be plenty of people that will have to make that difficult, you know, decision about it. That's why these goal planning now are really important to you to do. So what then? Well, what then is, you draw lines and you decide what you want to do next, and then you go into it with, again, your agenda, your goals, your ideas, your inspirations, your passion, and your time. Because once your time is gone, you can't get it back again. It's done. We don't work on like dual platforms anymore. Well, I never have. But, you know, this time is very precious. So make the most of it with yourself. Right, so if there's any questions, the sort of questions you might think about asking, what goals have you now set for yourself, if any? How will your approach now change towards these goals and your ideas around yourself and what you want to do for the future? How, or what is your end game to achieve it, and why? How important is it to reach your future goals? You know, one thing that really helps me, I'm dreadful with decision making. I'm even worse with decisions than I am with technical stuff, right? So the easiest way I've worked out to make a decision is, I'll put the list of things that I need to do and the decisions, so I'll put them all down, and then I'll put a number from 0 which is I don't want to do it, next to it, to 5, which is I really want to do it. And I just go through and I make sure they're the goals that I work on. They're the all the 5s are there for me. They're the things that are going to get me ahead. They're the things that I need to focus on, and I've got to get rid of all that other rubbish. All those zeros have to go out of the way. So again, I'll say if there's anything, now's the time to tell me. Any questions from what I've said? Anything that you found particularly helpful or that you're concerned about?
I think go on.
Hand up and then I'll go to you if you like. It's nice to have some interaction for a change. Who wants to start? All right then, Alan. Cool.
Yeah, I've been doing that quite a lot recently, is setting or writing down the list of tasks I want to achieve for the next day as the last thing, or one of the last things I do the night before. So when I wake up in the morning, I know what I want to do, what I want to get out of the way that day. And it's because you then start ticking those things off, you just feel a lot better about what's going on. Or sometimes you get distracted or you start doing something, then you realize you've got to do something else before you can finish that task, and then you do get a little bit off the beaten track with what you're trying to achieve, but you've got that list to drag you back in to where you want to finish what you've got to do for that day. So I find that since I started doing that, that's actually been really helpful way of making sure I'm trying to get everything done. I don't always do it, but then, like you say, you can roll that on to the next day. It's not the end of the world if you didn't get it done, because of other things. So yeah.
Yes, that's a good point. I mean, I'll cover that quickly. So now what you need to start thinking about is all those things that you're doing, where are they going? What are they going towards something? And what is it that you're really looking to achieve by the end of that week and that month and the year? Because if they're tasks that you're doing day to day, but they're not getting you to that point where you want to go, then maybe they need a bit of changing around a bit so that they're more focused towards that for you. But it sounds like you're powering it along, and I can just see in your face, even though you're looking about 20, that actually you're making good progress with yourself. Who's next? Okay, yeah.
I'd like to thank you for setting it out, the goals, daily, weekly, monthly and yearly. You're so positive about the whole thing, and I've been putting everything into like daily and been overwhelmed by it. You've just shown me, where I've been going wrong, and I'm going to change.
Good. You're going to have to come back to a future session and let me know how you've got on.
I will.
It's great to know that this sort of thing will work. And I believe me, I couldn't go out there and do the sort of crazy things that I do. And I'm doing a few really seriously crazy stuff. I couldn't do it confidently if I didn't know in my head and with all my tasks that I was already on things. I'm already seriously on it, that nothing's going to get me down with it. I know where I'm going. So I'm so pleased that you've now got to that point and you're going to take it forward like Alan and get there. Sandy?
Oh, I used to do that. I used to write lists and tick them off. Even the smallest task, I used to really break it down to really mini things, and so you've got loads and loads of things to tick off, and it does make you feel it. I've got out of the habit of doing it.
Yeah.
But that's what environment's done for me. I got out of the habit.
I think with you, because of your voluntary stuff, because of how consuming it is, and because of the way that you're doing it, because you're doing it from the heart, you're not doing it for a financial reward. You're doing it, you've approached it, and you've had in your head why you've wanted to do it. You've really got to think now, where is it going? Where do you want it to take you? And, is there anything else that you've got longer along that line that you also want to do or want to do more with as a result? And then look at these daily things and say, that's, these other things are so insignificant. I'm just going to do the one thing that's going to help. So if that means you email all the people or all these distractions that are coming in and stopping you from getting that one important thing done, you email them as your one task for the day and say, I am now not available until after 4 o'clock for conversations or emails. So if I haven't responded to you before 4, unless it's super important, it's because I've got a very important task that I need to get done first. But please be aware, I will be responding. I will be taking your call after that time. You know, you set the time, but you send that out to people. They're fine. They don't mind. They didn't realize they were sabotaging your day. But you've got to start sort of standing up for yourself a bit and saying, actually, no, this is how my day is. I'm looking at one important thing. This is what needs to be done. Because actually, if I don't, I'm feeling bad. And as much as I'm trying to do good for other charitable organisations, if it's making me feel bad, it's no point doing it.
No. You're right.
Good. So any constructive feedback, to put it onto the Facebook page, because that's good for you as well, because it highlights come in your company, and it helps also with the chamber, so that people start coming back to it and seeing that, you know, it's being supportive to the members. Also the website as well. But so the next one is just a summary, really. It's things to consider. Goals make you feel positive and proactive. Knowing the objectives you have achieved gives a sense of purpose and structure. Knowing your goals to achieve for one day, week, month, and year helps you to stay focused. Know your exit plan. These are crucial for you going forwards. They really are. And if you need that support, obviously the executive team there with the chamber are there to support each other and everyone in the membership, but I'm also here too. I'm really happy. Anytime you can just message me and I'll happily sit and have a chat about it. The next session that we have is in 2 weeks' time. Can't remember the exact date, but it's 2 weeks on Tuesday at 2, and that's relationships and conflict resolution. One of my particular favourites, I was in a conflict resolution situation last night, thoroughly enjoyed it. Was waiting for the conflict, but they couldn't get it past me. So anyway, thank you for joining today. Unless there's any other questions, anything at all, I will let you get on with your days.
Thank you. No, it's good.
That's brilliant. Perfect. Thank you.
Cool. All right. Take care, everyone.
Okay then.
Cheers. Thanks.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.